So I mean, I just talked for about like 50 minutes, and then I just talked for like another 4 minutes until I just now realized that I'm not recording with the audio. Like I don't know why I cannot understand this OBS Studio. Like I've been taking too long to understand this stuff. I've been on my PC for too long, but I'm trying to address in this video mental illness and like the problem with school and how and like there's a stigma in school that everyone lives upon and they think it's okay. And then the base stigma is what's set as the base stigma, and anything other is that is looked on as bad. And if you don't talk bad on the bad, then you are set into that. You're set into that category. So how I can describe that into more detail is like I'm 16 years old and I would remember in the school people would make fun of these people in class, and like genuinely I would make fun of them too, because if you didn't you would be made fun of, or like you know what I'm saying, like they would make a comment about you, or like why didn't you say something, or just something like that. Like it would happen. So you would genuinely have to make fun of these people to just like stay with the actual population, because if you didn't then you would look down as like that. And so I don't know if those people experience any mental trauma or mental illness, but like those people are made fun of on a daily basis, and even if they heard stuff or not, like I'm sure it got to them on a level. And so I'm never gonna really understand what they felt or what they feel to this day, because what I did was, I mean, I felt bad for that one, and another thing, I like literally couldn't talk. I went to 10th grade and I was verbally not able to speak to people. I would just start break down crying, and um, I don't know. It's hard to address. Like it seems so dramatic, like so over dramatized, and like I don't really know how to describe it. Like I was having to run to the counselor, and I couldn't even like like trying to talk the whole time, just until I just be like sent home, or just like be on my knees like asking for my mother to come get me. Like I mean, it was miserable, and like I was just trying to think that it was like my life, and like I hated my life. This is the worst part. I hated my life. I was judging myself. I was like, this is awful. My life is never gonna be the same. Why did I do what I do? And I'm not gonna really go into. I'm not gonna address what I did, just because I still to this day, like even after 9 months of like I kind of just jumped. What I did was I dropped out of the school. After that I couldn't talk to anybody at the high school. I mean, I just had like problems, like literally just depression and anxiety. And so what I did was I did the charter school, which is a 4 to 9. I didn't have to. It's independent work, and you get your high school diploma. And so other people aren't going to be given this opportunity. So I was really blessed with what I was given, because I was able to take what I'm about to say into like a full account. And that's what helped me the best. And so like I just kind of have to understand to an extent, or just learn from an extent. Hopefully, address your life to an extent, to just learn that like you need to learn how to drop those people that are gonna be judging you for different things. Like, because in the end, those people don't matter. Like what they think, or what they thought. Like your high school, your high school representation. It doesn't matter. Like what you genuinely are thought of. So even if you are one of the bad kids, like if you looked on as one of the bad kids, like why does it matter in the end? It's just like it's personal. Like it's almost like a personal battle. Like you have to you have to realize that you aren't here to prove anybody else's point. Like you're living your life, and the way I was able to understand this was like I went through a traumatic experience, and like no one is gonna understand that. Some people went through more traumatic experience, like a more traumatic experience, but like mine is not gonna be even understood from those people. They could be understood to an extent, like, and I can understand their trauma to an extent, but I mean, even individual person's mental illness is gonna be different, and there's no only way we can heal is just like by trying to compare as many things that we can see individually and how we help those problems, and other people's mental illness can help other problems, and until we are all like, I feel like healed. I really do feel like our healing is within each other, just because of the fact that like where we lag is where other people have lacked harder and like experienced. I feel like it's on levels and a lot of things that we deal with. And so, like, if people were just more open about certain things that they were affected by heavily, like it's some things that people are affected by that you just aren't addressing, and if you were addressing it, it would make other people's lives easier, is what I think. But like, so I'm just trying to explain the fact that like I dropped out of high school, I stopped talking to all my boys, and so it was easy to not care about the fact of what people thought about me, like in the public. Like, so I used to think about what every single person thought about me, even people I wasn't friends with. And so it was easy for me, kind of not easy, but like it wasn't hard for me to just like not care about what the general basis of people thought about what I was doing, what I did. You know, like the easiest way to realize this is just like your life doesn't matter, and their life doesn't matter, and thinking that what you post on your Snapchat story and that you have a score of like 1,000 and thinking that that matters. You need to realize what matters and doesn't matter in reality, because these things you set up into your life, you're just doing to take up time, and it's almost like we literally know that it is completely wasting our time and like we don't care, and it's the worst part. Just because like you need to fix yourself to fix yourself, and like if you're living with these things, you're just living with these things. Like you're not gonna be going anywhere. So what I did was I stopped talking to my friends for about 9 months, and you can't expect to like fight to hide a mental illness and get like I'm not saying I got upset, but you cannot. This is what I'm trying to help other people is like if your people didn't realize, or if some of your friends didn't realize that you were having mental problems, you can't be mad at them for that. You can't be upset. You can't be judged because even if you, I know you kind of still caring about what they think about you. Like they're still like brothers almost. It's like you almost see it as okay to care what people think about you, but you need to realize that it's not. That like really what you do is what matters, because in the end, like if you're by yourself, if you're if you're taken in captivity, by the Somali pirates or something like that, like where are all those people at in your life that you cared about and thought was all this, because like, that genuinely doesn't matter. I don't know. I guess the easiest way that you could really just put yourself under that perspective as quickly as possible is just like if you were kidnapped, if you were taken away from your life, like think of what mattered at that point. At that point, it's just like yourself. You're taken away from all the things that you think is that shit that matters. I mean, that's the easiest way I could think of. Is that you need to just do that to yourself. It's like kidnap yourself, but you need to realize that it's like just freeing yourself from all your bad, and it's almost like I wouldn't say sin or anything. It's just like you're bad. Like it's just you need it off you. The fact that you care about every single person thinks about you is just an awful. It's like it's bad. It's a bad thing. You need to just worry about what you are doing in your own life. And like so with my mother, when I had to come to her and tell her, it was the worst thing. I felt like a massive amount of shame and guilt, like complete guilt, like overwhelming, and like especially after I told her, like I just even though she told me that like she was like just worried for me and trying to help me, like I just felt guilty, like I feel like I did wrong, and then like I'm never gonna be looked at as the same. And so if you what you need to do, you need to realize is that like if you're judging yourself right now, then how do you expect yourself to not be judged by anyone else? Really, right there, it's like that's the start off. And then you need to realize that like even if you are judged from somebody else, why is that mattering to you? It's like it's a mental thing. It's like you're wanting that person's experience. Like you're wanting other people's experiences, other people's minds and stuff to notice you, and you need to realize that they don't matter. They don't matter. Like they really do not matter. In 15 years, not a single one of you are gonna know a single one of y'all friends, and it's just where you're at. It's just where you are gonna be at in those 15 years, even if you're alive or dead. So a lot of people will kind of think that like I'm gonna die. Like if I die tomorrow, then what was the point of like what I'm doing right now? Working 2 days a week, or 2 days a 2 jobs right now. I'm 7 days a week. Literally making so much money that I can't even count it. Like, what's the point of that? Because if I die, then I just had all that money. But like I'm just kind of accepting the fact that like I'm gonna make my future the best it can be, so I can enjoy that no matter what. But I'm not literally I'm not asking a single person to do that. I want people that have mental problems to understand that the reason why they have so much stress is because they're like they're letting it in. They're causing it to themselves, and even if it is something that was put onto them, the majority is literally self-caused. Like you're almost wanting it to happen. You need to accept that. Because whenever you know that, and a lot of people do know that, and they're just like are trying to hide it, you need to surrender to the fact that you're just like a wimp, man. That you're letting yourself be that much of a baby. Like you need to surrender to that, because like that's what your weakness is, So you need to just fall to it, not fight it. Like you need to realize that is where you're flawed at. That's the only thing you're doing wrong, and that you need to change that, And so whenever you can really just accept the fact that is where you're wrong at, You know, the fact that you're caring about what these other people are, you know, about like the other people, and you can realize that like if you were kidnapped, and like yourself is the only thing that matters in that situation. And, like I think that's the best way I can try to describe it. Like you just need to realize that yourself is what matters in every situation. And so yeah, whenever you can accept that, you can get yourself to the most important being in your life. Because like I guess beforehand you weren't the most beforehand I wasn't the most important person in my life. And so once you can get yourself the most important person in your life, you know you can almost look up to yourself. Because I can't look up to myself right now. I still just dread my life. I'm just trying to enjoy it. You know. But like that's what I'm fighting for. You know, I'm fighting to just be able to enjoy what I'm experiencing. You know, I feel like we're always if we were put in someone else's shoes, like you're not gonna come out the same way. Like literally, if the fact that I didn't have my dad, I let it mentally affect me, and all my other problems, you know, and everyone else does the same thing. They let it affect them, and they almost some know that they're letting it affect them, and it's just like so overwhelming. Like, you know, you just don't know how to overcome it because like it's just like, this problem, and it's like almost you want it to affect you. And it's crazy because why would you want something to affect you? You know, it's like it's undescribable because like how your brain is. You know, like it is just genuinely wanting bad for you, and you have to learn that like you know it's just because of you were so grown up with like trying to fight the bad. You need to learn that yourself is good, and that once you can be yourself, is only gonna be good. You know, 'cause that's the truth. Like right now, you're just like so scared about the other actions, and those other actions aren't even what matters. You know, hopefully I can. I don't know. I just wanted people to understand that like they're so worried and so dug into this life that they think is so important that it is not important at all. Like they need to get their life straight. I don't really know how to describe it. You know, I just feel like they're not right. They're not, and that's so. Even in my shoes, I don't care that they're not right. I just hope that one day they might be able to understand. Cause like, you know, like they could just waste every second of their day, man. And like, what do I give a flying f is what I'm trying to figure out. You know, I just that's how I am. Like, I feel bad, and especially for the people that have to deal with the shit stigma of the fact that you have to make fun of those people to be popular, you know? Because if you don't, then you're automatically a part of those bad people. Like, I honestly feel bad for those people that have to be made fun of just to be popular. Like, 'cause that's the true thing. It's literally a true thing. Like, I've seen it happen. I've done it myself. Like, it's awful. And, like, almost the people that brought it up, like, you can't even blame them because they see that as right. You know, they were taught right because of you, you know, because of your own self. And, like, it's just all, everyone like together mindedly just tried to create it as a stigma that's okay to make fun of people that are like disabled or like all that because like that is just like you're better than them. So people that are lower you can just shit on because like they're lower, you know? That's what it is. You know it shouldn't be right. You know, people that are lower you should assist, you know, to get them to where you are so they can enjoy the life that you're experiencing or like that they are experiencing. Because if you're enjoying I don't know, like you know, like I know what I'll be doing in my future, but other people do not. All they're worried about is right now. They're worried about, you know, what Jerry thinks of them. They're worried about, you know, what they did to Jerry last week. And whenever Jerry says something to him, or something like that, like, whenever people would say something to me, like, it was the craziest feelings I'd have in my life. Whenever I, like, almost, like, someone would say, like, I talked crap on them, you know? And then, like, I don't even remember talking crap on them. And I genuinely felt bad and stuff like that. Like, all that bull crap, all that bull crap. Like, whenever you can realize that genuinely doesn't matter is like where you'll be okay. And so people that don't have mental illness or any struggles, like if they're watching this, I don't even know why you'd be watching this if you don't have mental illness. But like if you're watching this, you need to just fix the stigma. Like I don't know how you can get away with just not making fun of these bad people because I feel like you would be put into the class, you know, the classification of bad. But you know, it's an awful system that we live in, but it's the reality, you know. I guess just the best way is just right now to cut off the people that are saying the bad. Because why do they? What does it matter about what they do in life? Because like what they're doing in life is just awful. You know, they're not going nowhere in life. Like think of somebody that's like just doing nothing in life. Like that's where you know the adults that just are not doing anything. You just need to think of like all the people around you in your in your childhood right now. That's where they're gonna be at, and that you only need to worry about the fact that you're gonna be at like where Donald Trump is at one day. You know, type. Not that, but like you just need to look at yourself as like a higher figure, and that you can work towards that. Yeah, it's not selfish to like look at yourself or something like that. It's almost it's rewarding because one, you're fighting for something. Like I'm literally striving to just be a better person because I want to like have more money and I want to. It's just like things that stack up. Like it's not it just makes it easier. Mentally for me. I guess I can say like the fact that I'm proud of myself, the fact that I'm not judging myself anymore. Because whenever you judge yourself and you can't even accept the problems that you've done and that like everything. You just dig your hole deeper. You let your problems affect you way more than they need to. And like a lot of things, we all do that, and we just think of it as okay. A lot of people like want pity. Like in the schools, a lot of people say like there are things that happen to them just to like get remorse from other people. Just to get like what's the point of getting that person's recognition? Like it doesn't matter. You don't need that person's recognition. You're still gonna be the same person whenever you go home today and are in that bed. That's what you need. That is what needs to be realized. Until you can like really get right. Is it like you need to realize what matters and what doesn't matter. And that so much of your shit that you're doing right now doesn't matter. And so whenever you can get your life focused on the shit that matters is whenever you realize that you're changing yourself. Is really what I'm thinking. It's like I was in such a delusional cloud and thought that was just the stigma of life and that like it's just gonna go on to the 4 years until I'm just in the adulthood, and that's just wrong. It's not what it needs to be. You can start your journey now. You can start working for your future because literally your social life doesn't matter. Because then in 4 years it's just you worried about a social life that it was just only there for 4 years. Because really in the social life it's gonna be there no matter what if you're in public school. So even if you do just not give a crap and you don't make fun of the bad people and you just not care what all the popular people think, you're gonna be a part of like the bad group. You're gonna be sitting by yourself at lunch. You need to just like you need to realize there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact that you've grown up, this is why we do that, is because people made fun of those kids that sat alone. And people made fun of those people that had an illness, a mental depression. I'd see a kid crying, they'd make fun of that kid crying. That is what it is. It's like you judge yourself, and that's why you have your most problems that you do. Is that like literally like we would make fun of people that was like crying. Like I remember a kid used to cry, like literally had depression. Like in 5th grade, he'd be crying, like bawling, and like I remember someone made fun of him. Like, how can you cry? Like literally, was like, how can you cry? And it's just like you. There's no point in asking that because you aren't gonna be able to understand that. Not a single person in this world is gonna be able to understand what that kid was going through. And I feel bad to this day about like that kid. He literally had depression in elementary school. Like I really don't understand how that happens, but I mean I knew it. I knew it was a thing. I saw it there. But like so today I just like I don't know. I'm 16 and I'm just like trying to change my life. That's what I've done so far. I'm definitely going on to a better future. Just think, if I would have just kept worrying about the bullshit, all the shit that didn't matter, where would I be at now? I'd be with every other kid that just is worried about each other's bullshit. I'd have like snap scores of 500. Like I don't have a single snap scored, and I don't have any of that. You need to realize what is bullshit in your life and that you don't need it. Like really is what I was shown. I was shown some. I don't even remember, but I remember, man. I was told that like like imagine a snake. Like a snake is transformation. Let me show you something right now. A snake is transformation. Y'all need to realize this. A snake literally has to change itself. Look at this. You'll need to read this. A snake's a symbol of transformation. They teach us how vital it is to shed what no longer serves us. Snakes must literally shed or die. As painful as letting go of what restricts us can sometimes be, it's what allows us to survive, grow, and thrive. So, my point and my conclusion of this is that, like, we genuinely see it as wrong to have mental problems and stuff like that. And that, like, we genuinely see it as, like, okay to make fun of people like that. And that, like, we think that it's okay that the stigma that's happening right now in high school, the fact that I was living it every day and everything, like, they just thought it was okay. So, like, there's no changing it if the actual basis reality is, like, that's okay. You can't have a kid walking in and just, like, hey, you're doing wrong. That little, the basic stigma just going to shut that kid out, because they just don't care what that kid has to say. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You can't change the basic stigma, you can only just help the people that have suffered from that. really, because I mean I came from that, and I feel bad that there's people that still have to, right now, man, like tomorrow are gonna have to deal with just being made fun of from people for no reason, even in elementary and all that, because every single grade goes on every single day. So all that stuff that happened has got to still be occurring, and like there's no changing that. You just can make yourself better and realize that you were in the wrong. Whenever you can accept that you were in the wrong and that you made bad decisions, not regrets, because you can't see things that you've done as regrets, because then you would just not, you would judge yourself. You can't judge yourself, because then how are you gonna expect to not be judged from other people and not care what they think? I don't know. I need to think of that. I need to think of a better way to explain that, because like I don't know, judging yourself is almost how you can change yourself. Is realizing that you're in the wrong. I almost, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think of a better way to describe that. But, like, yeah, I mean, as soon as you can learn to, let go of the stuff that doesn't matter, because it's a lot of stuff that doesn't matter that everyone is doing. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I'm doing everything perfect. Like I still do some shit that doesn't matter. Like watching TV. Like that's a good example. Like watching TV, that doesn't matter at all. Like the fact that I've watched 200 episodes of Impractical Jokers, of like any episode, like all that stuff really doesn't matter. Like I'm realizing this right now. Like all the Netflix and all that streaming services, that stuff doesn't matter. I feel like crazy now. Like, cause y'all gonna be like, well, then what's the point of life? Like, there's a point to life. You gotta figure out what you're fighting for. Really, cause like if your whole life is fighting for your future, then what matters is your future. If right now is what you're worried about is what Netflix show you're watching, then that's what matters. And your future just ain't gonna be as bright as it could have been. I mean, that's just what you gotta accept, because like all that bullshit y'all be doing is just bullshit. It's just taking up your time. It's just right now y'all are just y'all just getting away with the bullshit. Getting away with the bullshit. The parents are paying for the bills, all that. It's just like this maturity is just thrown onto your life as soon as you're 18 and stuff, and then you can't live with the parents, and you have to just give up the social life and start to work. See, I had to realize, because it was a problem I dealt with. I could have just went through all 4 years and just then changed. The problem I dealt with was like I literally had like a breakthrough. Like I was at school and I was crying in class, depression and stuff, and I couldn't even talk to my counselors. I was having to run to the counselor at 10th grade. I had to drop out. Like I felt so judged, and I felt judged for myself. I literally just like was making, like I literally just was like, I couldn't believe that I couldn't talk. I couldn't get a word out. I was just trying to talk in the counselors, and I just had to be going home all the time, like the first week or two, until I just dropped out, because like it was overwhelming. Like 9th grade, 10th grade, all that. I mean 9th grade, all that before I was fine, but ever since I had that traumatic experience, like I literally couldn't function the same. And so beforehand, so I was living under that reality. I was living under the reality, and so I was just shown that reality is just like what's complete a waste of time. It's like literally complete utter bullshit that we are just putting over our life because we're able to do it, and that it's just wasting our time, and that in 4 years we'll just have to. It's just like laziness. Everyone is just like, it's pretty much just like a form of laziness. They're just like gonna deal with it later. It's like who cares when I'm immature. That's what 18-year-old is for. Like that's really what it is. They need to realize that what they're harming, like what that is affecting. Like, I'm not saying I was affected when those popular kids. Like, I don't think I was made fun of. But a good way to think about it is if you were made fun of, you don't need to care. Like, those people, what they thought of you doesn't matter, because no matter what you did in life or what you are going to be doing in the future is what matters. To you, at least, So why does it matter in the future, if anything? Even if they do become a better person, which is something I need to point out, is that even if that person does become a better person, that you just, like has like financial better is what I'm saying. One thing you always know that like truly you're a better person. One thing you always have that over them. But that's the thing that's bad. You shouldn't have to want anything over anybody. So that way they're showing like my weakness. Like I still do truly like almost want to prove people wrong. Like I want to have that. I want to be more knowledgeable, and that's something I've always dealt with. And whenever someone like says whatever to whenever I'm arguing with them, and whenever they say that, I get like boiling, blood, and I want to prove them wrong. I want them to know that they were wrong and I was right. You need to learn that is just like, that's bad. Like, that's bad. Like, there's no need to send that person to know that you're right. That's just like you striving for like attention, And like that's what I'm saying. I really wanted attention. That's all I was wanting was attention. You gotta learn that like you're in the wrong, and you need to accept that you're in the wrong. That's where it's at, man. I hope. I think I'm gonna end the video here because I think I just talked for another 30 minutes. So I just wait. I'm not gonna say I wasted, but I don't even know how many people are gonna watch this or if it really is gonna help anybody, But I don't know. I kind of did help myself. The fact that what I did talk about the last 40 minutes, and now like this 30 minutes, it's kind of helping. Just the fact that I'm able to put it into words and put it into video, like, just so I can have it there, because everything I think about, like all the stuff I already know, like to a true extent, like even deeper, it's just I can't explain that. But like getting this out the way is how I see it. Like I'm getting this terminology of life right now out of the way. Like there's way more stuff about like the fact that like you dream, Like I'm not even gonna go about that, but like the fact that you literally dream and that your brain can subconsciously completely make a reality that you're living, and you can be unaware of the fact that you're in a dream. I mean, that's why I feel like our brain has so much power, and it really is mind over matter. And once you can just realize and not care what other people think, because you need to realize that like you is what's higher. Like you are just a greater individual. It's the way I've seen it. Like if you're worried about other people, like those are just like those are the sheep of the society. Like those people literally make fun of bad people. Like why should you even care like what they think, what they do? Like you do not. I mean, you don't need to, really. You don't need to, because that is where like bad is from. Like so, if you were caring, that is where your bad is from. The biggest change in my life was letting go of the fact that what people thought about me, And so I do still think about what people think about me. The fact that 12 minutes ago I was like, you still have that over somebody, because like I understand that. Like it's such a good feeling to have somebody have something over someone, but they shouldn't be. You should be able to prove to yourself that you're right and enjoy that. You shouldn't need someone else's recognition, and so you're gonna need someone else's recognition because you literally were growing up in a house like with my mother or something like that. They're gonna give you recognition. You're gonna want recognition for more stuff you do. Like it's just like natural habitivity. Like I don't really know how to talk. I want to go into more, but I really don't know what I can really say because I can't make certain people not watch my videos. Everyone's gonna see this. I don't care what people think about me anymore, and that's what really changed me on the inside. Like what made me realize that like it doesn't matter what they think. Only the fact that I don't care what they think. It doesn't matter that they even have an opinion, and if they did get an opinion, it doesn't matter. And even if they didn't get an opinion, did not get an opinion, it don't matter. You should just worry about the fact that yourself is what is most important to you, if anything. It doesn't mean what's important in the actual world. If everyone could just realize that their self was most important and focus on themselves, this place would be a better place. They wouldn't be worried about making fun of the nerds and all that. But, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like a sense of insecurity. Like, they had to make fun of those people just to, just to get a sense of recognition, That's literally what it is. Like, they're wanting just recognition for making fun of them to the bad kids, and they get recognition, too, because whenever they make fun of them, like, that's something they compare on. They can compare on making fun of those people. That's the worst part. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it. I kind of got lost in the fact that my friends, I dropped them after 9 months. They were mad. They were mad at me. One of them called me a self-centered, arrogant prick. And, you need to realize that, like, I don't know. I realized after that, like, there's people in your life that you are going to think, really, that you fucking needed them, And one day you'll be shown that, like, even that person that you really thought you needed, like, it shows that person isn't the one you needed. So, like, all the other people you definitely don't need is, like, kind of what I was realized. So, like, I kind of just cut off everyone. Like, yes, I know that, like, there's going to be people that love you and stuff. And so if you can accomplish just, like, detachment from, other people's thought, if you can experience that, if you can develop what I've done, how I can just not care what people think about me, which I do right now. Like, I'm going to be able to be better at this, but, like, right now, I do care, but I really don't care nowhere near as much as I used to, but, I'm sure there's going to be someone that will be able to mentally like get rid of the actual thought, the actual everyone caring about them, and like still going to school and stuff like that. Almost like that would be insane to me. I couldn't imagine going to school and trying to have this mindset. That is what's alarming to me, is that I feel bad for people that have mental illness and that have to deal with people's thoughts. They have to. That's what I feel bad about, is that there's people that have to deal. I was having to deal with what people thought about me, because if I wasn't, then I wasn't. They thought bad of me, and I didn't want bad thought of me. It's what's so fucked up, is that like you want good thought of you, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you can't expect good thought of you from everyone, and that's the worst thing, is that you're gonna expect that. So you don't need good from no one. Only thing you need is good from yourself. And you realize, like, you don't even think yourself is good. That's the worst part. Is that, like, I don't know if right now you're having that realization, but, like, you gotta think, you're so worried about what other people think about. Like, what do you even think about yourself? If anything, the only things you ever hear or say about yourself are bad things. The fact that you may be fat or ugly or got, a small face, or, like, your eyes are too close to each other, or that your nose is too big, or just things that aren't good. Whenever you were made exactly how you were made, and you shouldn't worry about that, You're, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're there exactly how you're there. There's no changing how you're there. There's procedures to change how you're there. But even those, like, what's the point of having those procedures? Those procedures are just worrying about what other people think about you and getting a better appearance. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't genuinely matter. And so, like, it's almost like God's view. I don't really know how to introduce this, but, like, God's view is almost like individual righteousness of themselves, of like understanding that other people. See, you can't be like a true. I'm not gonna go into God. I can't explain that with this. It's too hard to try to comprehend. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll end the video here. I mean, I'll try to go into more, but I mean, this is already like a 30-minute video. I know that, but I'm hoping I can have helped someone with mental illness and help them realize that what's really holding them attached is the fact that they are judging themselves. They're worried about what other people think about them. I don't know I really can't tell you how you're going to not care what people think about you, especially if you're having to deal with them on a 5 days a week basis, All I can tell you is that, like, not caring what they think is, like, gonna be what's best off for you. Because if you're living your life in this fear of what they think, or that you're being thought bad of, or, like, whenever bad things would happen, man, it was, like, traumatizing for me. Like, whenever someone would think that I talked bad on them, and, like, even if, it's what the worst part, man, is, like, I feel like sometimes I did talk bad on other people, and, like, everyone does talk bad, even on, like, it's just not good. Like, it's just not a good community, and it needs to be solved, but it's not gonna be. So, I guess you just need to develop, like, if you can mature before they do, like, that's really what matters, you don't need to worry about the other people maturing, because they're not going to. Like, the people that are popular and all in the sheep, man, they just care about what people think. So you shouldn't worry about them, because think in, like, 10 years, if they're in the same spot and still thinking what other people think, then where are they at? They're literally nowhere. If they're just still thinking what other people think, they're literally nowhere. Or if they just learn to change themselves and not care what people think and started to change their life. But so then what? They just wasted 4 years of their life figuring out that they should have not cared what other people think. That's what I'm saying. Is that I'm just trying to show y'all right now that one day y'all will realize that y'all are making the biggest mistake of your life, and maybe even regret it, and you'll never even, you'll never. I don't know. I feel bad, and for the people that are having to go through the experience and just deal with mental illness and think that it's like the devil to even try to talk about it, and that you're gonna be shunned on more for even try to explain because you can't explain your mental illness. And so you think the only way you can find help is if you find a perfect explanation. But there's no perfect explanation. It's the reason why you have it. It's because there isn't an explanation. You aren't going to be able to describe. You can describe it in the best way, and you can help other people by just the best information you got. But that's only going to help some people with with the things they relate on. Like, everyone with a mental illness has their own problems, and so the only way we can help each other is by describing as much as we can. And so the things that we relate on is what we can depict and just, like, live over and just try to make our lives better, because, like, that's all what we're trying to do. Like, I genuinely don't enjoy my life, and, like, I've been trying to enjoy my life, and I don't know how. I don't plan on someone to understand how understand how you can enjoy your life, because it's just like a feeling put over your life, like you want to enjoy your life. Like, why would I want to be experiencing what I'm experiencing and literally just like want to die? Like, it's like realize that like I'm having to do this because I have family, and that like if I do die, and that if I do drive off this road right now, and then I completely wreck this car, that everyone's gonna be thinking that like, what did I do? And like that's what I'm saying. Like, so even that is still caring about what other people think. I don't know, it's weird, but damn, I don't know. You need to, yeah, I guess you need to care what people think in that situation. You don't need to die. You need to you need to worry about yourself. I don't know. I'm saying this, that. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm all over the place. I got a lot of, I'm mature, and I had a traumatic experience, and it matured me. It showed me the wrongs in my life, and showed me the wrongs in everyone's life, and that I don't need to worry about that. Because the fact, if I try to worry about everyone's wrong, then it's just gonna put me in the same place, like I just need to focus on myself. There's no way to change the entire school system to get them to not make fun of that's gonna be happening. The depiction of making fun of those people to be popular, like it's always gonna be a thing. The fact that like my nephews I know are probably having to make fun of these kids that are special ed that. Back when I was in the middle school, literally there was a kid that was special ed and his name was Ty, and if he touched you, you would have a thing called Ty touch, and people would literally say, "Oh, you have Ty touch," and they'd literally run away from the person that had the Ty touch and the actual kid, Ty himself. And teachers thought this was perfectly fine, but like I want to like talk to this kid today and understand like that trauma. Like he has got to be traumatized whenever he was being ran away from, like he was a disease, like a literal disease, and they literally said it as there was like a tie touch, and this is on God that this happened, and this was on like different days. I'd go to recess like 5th or 4th grade, and I'd figure out the tie touch was running around, and the worst part is that he was perfectly running around thinking that like he was finally getting attention, and that like he was finally getting attention, and that he was just so tired of getting made fun of because all he was doing was getting made fun of. So then he's just sitting here getting called this tie touch, and he's thinking he's finally getting the attention, and it's just people making fun of him, like, in a worse way, and, like, they just, it's awful, It's just, like, the general public is awful, but you shouldn't expect to change it, and, you can't change them, you just need to realize that you're wrong in your own, and you need to fix that. I mean, amen, because, like, even myself, like, in 5th grade, I was doing that. Because if Ty touched me and I was perfectly fine with the fact that Ty touched me, I would have been, I would have been a part of that group. I would have been, a kid with, special, I can't say that like a kid with special needs, but like I would literally, like I'm telling you, like there's a category, that you're set with that kid. I'd see someone talk nice to that kid, and like then all of a sudden you'd only see them two people hanging out, and like that kid couldn't even talk. The kid that would talk to Ty couldn't even talk to like his old friends anymore because they would literally be afraid of the fact of other people making fun of him for talking to that person that would talk to Ty. Like it's just like this big thing that happens. People are just scared about what other people think, and there's no way to overcome that. I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking. Like there's no changing the other people. There's no change in the actual high school. There's no change in the actual high school life. So you just have to learn to live with yourself, like to learn to change your own way and to make your life better. Because I've always know the fact that this is how the schooling was, I feel bad. I truly do feel bad and remorse for them people that have to deal with that every day and are going to have to deal with that for the next years. And people that every school grade is going on every day, like 3rd and 4th and 5th. And if there is a special ed kid that's trying to be taught with the same class that they're having to deal with, and that bullshit that poor kid had to deal with, like you never know. But I know that there is more situations like that, and that's the fact that it's seen as okay. It's seen as okay, and like that is a mental problem in itself. And a lot of people have their own mental problems, and like so something are genuinely like a bad problem, and they have to fix it. And like the fact that those people would think that it's okay that Ty touch was a thing. That's a genuine problem. Like, one day they'll realize that they were in the wrong, or they'll just shovel it under the rug and be like, I never did that. But what does that do for them? It's just gonna leave it there and always have it there. I mean, it's never not gonna. If you don't accept that you are wrong and that you did a fucked up thing, you're not going to learn, or you're not going to be a better person. Because you're just like trying to say that it's alright what you did, and that now you just know that you did something wrong. I'm gonna just leave it off at that because I'm talking for a lot. I don't even know if this video is gonna be able to post. So I'm just hoping that I was able to help out somebody, at least one person, because that's all I needed. I don't even need a single person to get affected by this video. But it's just like, will make my heart change if I could have actually helped someone else with their mental problem. Because it's undescribable what it is, you know? Even for each individual person. It's never going to be the same. And it's not even right to compare, you know, someone else to someone. Someone else is like dramatic in their own way. And they make it as dramatic as they genuinely, mentally are going to. And there's nothing you can do about that, you know? People let stuff affect them more than it does. Like, I let my problems affect me so much more than I ever needed to. You know, like, that's why I am where I am today. If I wouldn't have had that horrific experience, traumatic experience, I wouldn't have matured the way I did. I would have thought it was okay to make fun. That's what I'm saying. You gotta not regret yourself, because then you can't expect to not be judged from the outside. You know, you gotta just not be. You gotta just hold on. You gotta not want to be. You gotta not care that you're being judged, or that you could be judged or anything. Because it genuinely doesn't matter, like, what you're being judged about. You learn that. I don't know. I already said I'm gonna end the video. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep. I really do hope I can help somebody. But I mean, it's only up to God if they find this video, you know? Like, I mean, whenever I was in dire need, like, especially like a week after it happened, and I didn't even want to tell my mother about what happened. Like, I couldn't even talk to her, man. I couldn't even look at her. I felt so ashamed. Like, I literally felt like devil on this earth, you know? Or like, I felt like Jesus Christ. I was like his dad. His phone father couldn't even look at him because of the sin he was holding or bearing. Like, that's what I felt like. I couldn't even be looked at because I felt like when I was being looked at, I don't even deserve to be looked at. Like, it was insane. It's just like, if that's what you're experiencing, you need to learn to let go of yourself. Like, you need to learn to forgive yourself. You need to learn how to not forgive yourself. You need to learn to realize that you're in the wrong. You know? It wasn't okay for things that you did like that, you know? And other things that you let affect you. You know, you need to realize that you're in the wrong and you can fix yourself from the point you're in. It's just that the fact that you're willing to accept that you were in the wrong and that you can fix yourself. Because some people just try to hide it and say that it never happened and that they were just never wrong. They were never in the wrong. They're in the present time right now, right? You know, just like caring about the friends and all that. And I mean, you should be able to live your life knowing that you will know more, or you'll be more mature. It doesn't matter what other people, you know, not everyone needs to have this. Because, like, even if every single kid in the high school population watch this video and realize that, like, it's awful, or, you know, it's awful that there's a stigma to make fun of these bad people, and that it happens every single day, and that we still do it just to you know, compare. Like, they literally just do it to just get recognition. We do it to get recognition from each other. And if you don't make fun of that person made fun of, then you get, like, unpopular, or you get, like, negative feedback. It's just messed up. It's like, you have to do this to really get a part of the population. It's messed up. I don't know. I'm gonna end this video. I can't keep talking. I'm hoping I help somebody out, though. Truly. And I hope y'all have a blessed night. I mean, I just talked for about almost, like, 2 hours, and half of it wasn't even recorded. I didn't even get, like, you know, half of what I spoke for an hour about. Because, like, I spoke for an hour, you know, I'm not even going to be able to trace all that. But, I mean, I've said a couple things that were, like, mind-blowing to me that I didn't even say in this video, but it's okay. You know, I said enough, I feel like. So, yeah, you all have a great night. See